7 pitch. Harper hits one in the air, left center field. Back it goes. Harper, the swing of his life. It is bedlam at the bank. Swung on, crushed, and the Phillies are going to lead it 4-0. Now Harper sends one in the air, way back to right center. That one's gone. This place explodes. It's good. Right center field. Lightning strikes. Right field. Segura's out. Castellanos out. And the Philadelphia Phillies are going to the World Series.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Bell Ringers podcast. Colin Daly alongside Ben Goldstein. I'll tell you, Phillies baseball has been fun in June. I'm going to start us off with an analogy today that I've been saving.
A good old Colin Daly analogy. Here we go.
A little Colin Daly analogy.
Some English in the summer.
No English. She's actually.
No English.
This isn't really me. This analogy isn't really me. I'm going to give it a try. It's like you ever play those VR games, and you I feel like June was us like putting on the headset. And then this last game, this 2-1 loss to the Nationals, is when you take the headset off and you're in the arcade. I've always gone to Kalahari and do the VR thing. And I see all those nasty 6-year-olds running around. That's what today felt like. I took off the VR goggles and I'm like, dang it, we do actually still sync. We still sync.
It's like you're coming home from vacation. So I go to Florida every December to get away from the cold because I hate the cold. So we go down there and then we go down there. It's beautiful weather. We come back and it's cold again and we hate it. So
your December Florida trip is Philly's June.
Sure. If you want to look at it that way, sure. Episode number 32 on the Bell Ringers podcast. We welcome you in not only from YouTube, but from Spotify, Apple Playlists, or Apple Podcasts.
The whole shebang.
Who else? Samsung Podcasts, and then some other podcast sites. So we welcome you in from there. This episode is brought to you by SeatGeek. Use code Philly Sports Report, all one word. Drop the S on the Philly Sports Reports. It's Philly Sports Report. You can save yourself $20 off on your first SeatGeek purchase. SeatGeek is the best way to buy your tickets for games, concerts, whatever you need tickets to. They have them. So go over to SeatGeek.com or download the SeatGeek app and use code Philly Sports Report on your first purchase. SeatGeek, thank you for sponsoring the episode.
Agreed. So we may as well jump right into this. 2-1 loss to the Nationals, Ben. We just exaggerated that a little bit. What are your true thoughts on that game?
You have, 8-9 hits and you score 1 run. It's just you gotta hit. The Phillies just don't hit with runners on. The situational hitting is awful. It's been that way since 2011. Let's be honest here. It just needs to hit with runners on. It's just as simple as that. It's much easier said than done. I feel like I sound like Ben Davis right now, but it's just with runners on. They got to work on situational hitting. I don't know how we're still talking about this on June 30th, how we still can't hit with runners on, but it's their biggest problem. And the bullpen.
If you were really Ben Davis, Ben, you'd say it's a mindset.
Yeah, it's all mental, the smoke. Anyway, but the pitching was great today. Christopher Sanchez is good. I feel like their fifth spot in the rotation is figured out for the moment. The pitching's great. Phillies didn't give him any run support. What else is new?
You bring up with Christopher Sanchez a good point. When I was making the agenda for this podcast episode, that was one of the things I was going to question. Is Chris Sanchez a viable fit starter option? And then I'm putting it on this thing that I sent you. I'm like, you know what? That's not even a question anymore. That's kind of more just a statement, I think. He's been really good. He has changeup working today, his slider. Rob Thompson mentioned it in his post-game interview. It was lethal. It was especially good against righties, actually. I thought they were having trouble hitting it when he ran it inside on them. So it looks like a nice, juicy fastball down the middle and just breaks into their back foot. Now, I really do think a back foot slider is one of the best pitches. Zach Wheeler does it. He's had success with it. Christopher Sanchez doing it from the left side could be very, very effective. He was great today. The Phillies bullpen was great today. You got a scoreless inning out of Jeff Hoffman. You got a scoreless inning out of Matt Strom, scoreless inning out of Andrew Vasquez. The offense is disappointing. I mean, you were right. You hit it nail on the head there. 8 hits, 1 run.
Bang.
With runners in scoring position today, which again, it's always been a problem for the Phillies. And at some point, I think it always will be. Always will be. They were 1 for 8. They left 7 runners on base. Their only extra base hit was Alec Boehm, who had a double. That was to begin. I believe that was the 7th inning. It was 7th inning. You know where he ended the 7th inning?
Where?
Still on second base. And I know you're as shocked as I am.
How?
I was actually really frustrated. I don't know why. But I feel like I can't justify it. It's a strange feeling. I'm not usually speechless, but today I feel like I might be. I have really mixed feelings about that game.
Yeah, I am. I feel you, but I don't really get that way until after the All-Star game. So I'm waiting for my rage to come out until then. Christopher Sanchez has made 3 starts this season and has allowed 4 earned runs in 15 innings with 15 strikeouts and only 2 walks. So he's been good.
Yeah, the walks are huge for him. If you remember last year, I'll never forget this. I
forget it.
was covering man, this was awful. So I was covering the West Coast road trip. It was 3 games in San Francisco.
I remember that.
3 games in Arizona, 3 games in San Francisco. And I was covering the whole thing. Series previews, series recaps, tweets.
I'm sorry.
The whole shebang. So I remember like the game starts at like 10:10. I have like one eye open. And I see Christopher Sanchez walk in like 3 runs. I was like, there's no way I'm going to make it till 2 a.m. with this game. And this was like pre-pitch clock era too. So they just kept walking guys, like take his time on the mound. I'm like, I'm not going to make this game, which of course I did. I don't really have much of a choice, but he was awful last year. It's been night and day for him, and it's really great to see because now that he has found his command, he's a very effective pitcher out of the Phillies bullpen. And honestly, even if they were to get a 5th starter at the deadline, I would without a doubt stick Chris Sanchez in a long reliever role because Phillies don't really have one. I mean, the good thing is they haven't had to use one in a very long time.
Yeah, and even if you have him there, he's still valuable in the bullpen, even if you need to use him as a middle reliever. Just keep him on this major league roster, and he'll help. He's a good pitcher.
I agree. The only thing, I mean, I guess right now
he's a lefty.
Yeah, it's true. Right now they'd probably consider Matt Strom their long man, but he hasn't pitched more than an inning or 2 in a while.
And his last few appearances, he's given up runs, a few home runs here and there.
His last 2 have been great.
Yeah, but like
everything else before that was, you're right.
In June, he's given up a couple home runs. I don't have his stat line up right now, and don't feel like getting it up. But I mean,
same thing with Alvarado though. I don't think he's been good since his injury. A lot of hard contact.
He's given up a lot of hard contact. He's definitely looking not like the Jose Alvarado we saw in the beginning of the season, but he's still pitching good.
Yeah, I mean, now you can't. I don't think anyone's expecting Alvarado to be as good as he was at the beginning of the season. I mean, he was the first pitcher since 1961 to strike out 11 consecutive batters as a reliever, which is ridiculous because that's pretty much like 3 or 4 straight appearances, assuming a reliever's only pitching 1 inning. I mean, the beginning of this year, he was even better than he was the end of 2022. But if he can find like a nice happy medium, obviously that would be more than great. But so far, I don't know. It's like a weird thing because he's not allowing a ton of runs in his outings. He allowed the home run to Pete Alonso. He's running into traffic. I mean, I put it in the All-Star feature that I published on our site today. It was something with like he's allowed 14 base runners in his last 7 innings he's pitched. So he's running the traffic. He's gotten out of said traffic. There's something different. I can't really put a finger on it right now. I don't think it's mechanical. It's more the way the ball's coming out of his hand. Doesn't have as much movement. Doesn't seem to have as much quote unquote like electricity. You get what I'm saying? His velo is down a little bit, not a lot. He's sitting like 97, 98 right now. Which again, that's like a mile per hour or 2 slower. And that was just the last appearance I saw him in. That could have just been an anomaly. I don't know.
What were you saying that you put
honestly
in your article?
though?
What were you saying that you put in your article? I have it up.
Just go down to Alvarado. He's in the long. I think he's in the deserving. I don't remember.
Yeah,
I think he's deserving.
Yeah, he is.
what is it in his last 7 innings?
I don't
It's in
see
there
anything
somewhere.
I don't know if I see anything with the last 7 innings.
In that case, I could be thinking of a completely different dude.
With a fastball that has topped out at 101 miles per hour, paired with a virtually unhittable cutter, Jose Alvarado has been a lethal weapon out of the Phillies bullpen in 23.1 innings. Blah, 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 blah. Earlier this season became the first blah, 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 blah. Since coming back from injury, he's gotten into jams, gotten out of them. In his last 7 innings pitched, he has allowed 12 base runners, yet he has just 2 earned runs over that same span. I bet right over.
Yeah.
It is literally the last sentence.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's again, it's a weird thing with him. I can't put a finger on what exactly it is other than like kind of a feel for me. But for some reason, I feel like he's gonna snap out of it. I'm not sure. Um, it's hard to say because with Alvarado, you never know what's coming. I mean, I wouldn't even say he turned his season around last year. He turned his entire career around last year. So it is tough to put a finger on with him. So
Yeah,
we'll have to see how that develops.
They brought him back from AAA, and my goodness, he was ferociously
Unhittable.
lights out.
I mean, what I put in that article, virtually unhittable. He was ridiculous.
And he
coming back from AAA.
He was not virtually unhittable. He was unhittable earlier this season. Now he's kind of hittable, but he's still Phillies top reliever.
This is true. So that leads us into another topic, talking about AAA. There are some options down there. I pulled their stat lines. I wrote them down. So Derek Hall, flash line of 326, 406, 535. It's good for a 941 OPS. 3 home runs, 14 RBI since being reinstated from the 60-day injured list because of his injury he sustained the beginning of the season. I believe that was in their 3rd series, right after the Yankees set. Jake Cave, though. So, Ben, you don't want him to be recalled?
Jake Cave? I mean, I just don't. He's hitting so good, but like, that's in AAA. You saw what he did earlier in the season in the major leagues. And he hit well in spring training. He's hitting well now in AAA. He's just a AAA weapon. I don't know if he can transfer that over to the MLB. I really hope I'm wrong, but so early in the season he wasn't great. Where is he going to play?
I saw something crazy on Twitter.
Oh boy.
Caven left Schwarber at first until Harper can play first base. I mean, Cave is an above-average defensive left fielder, and I simply cannot watch Schwarber. I mean, how much worse can it be at first base? Because let's just get this out of the way. Cody Clemens hasn't done anything this month.
If Schwarber can't catch the ball in left field, what makes you think he's going to catch the ball at first base?
Because it's coming at him straight, not on an arc.
True.
There's a lot less thinking.
Yeah, I don't know if he can pick balls.
There's not a chance he can.
Yeah.
But honestly, our infield doesn't throw a lot of balls in the dirt, so he can't just keep allowing doubles in the outfield. It's painful. But I mean, at the same point, I almost feel like you have to get Jake Cave in this line. I mean, you make a good point. He's been great in spring training, great in AAA, not so good at the major league level. There has to be some sort of correlation there. Now, I'm going to read you off a stat line. I'm not expecting him to come up to the major leagues and do this because these are MVP numbers.
It's ridiculous. It's not. It's
368
it's not MVP
average.
It's not MVP. It's like Hall of Fame.
Major league history. 368 average, 447 on base, a 708 slugging percentage, good for a 1.155 OPS. He hit a home run earlier in the week, 454 feet it went. I truly didn't know he was capable of hitting a ball that far. 12 home runs, 43 RBI. Like I said, you make a great point, but it's one of those things where, like, I'm going to be sitting on my couch in February of next year, and I'm going to say, what would have happened if in July we brought up Jake Cave? It's one of those things.
Nothing.
See, but can you just tell yourself that?
Yeah, I can.
You must have more self-respect than I do because I can't do that. I'll beat myself up over that.
Yeah, good at convincing myself. Yeah.
I can't do that.
Yeah,
I have to bring him up.
yeah, sure. I mean, I'm not opposed to it, but I don't think it's gonna do anything. I don't think he's gonna.
That's
It's like it's just guys just rake him at the minor leagues and spring training, and they just can't transfer it over to the major leagues. It's just the thing that happens, and I think Jake Cave is a career minor leaguer. Hate to say it,
I
but
mean, again, I can't argue with you because statistically, yeah, but I mean, you think he's gonna just go from hitting from a 1.1, his OPS could drop by 300 to the point where it's 855,
I mean, he might
and
still
he's
might
still
be
helping
able.
the Phillies by a lot.
I mean, he might start off hot and then slowly / quickly decline, where he's hit. Yeah, he has a 7-some OPS, 6-something OPS.
I mean, right now it's better than what you're getting from Cody Clemens.
What's his stat line right now? How did he
Not
do?
very good. Look
I
up
wanna-
June.
We'll see what I can.
I
do
mean,
here.
Bohm has been abysmal. JT Realmuto. I mean, hold on. The Phillies are winning these games. Sure, I'll give them that. But they're not winning them with any sort of command. Not beating good teams. The one good team we faced during this winning streak literally clobbered us. They played horrendous, and they still beat us 5-1 in extra innings.
Yeah. In Clemens' last 30 games, he has in 96 at bats, he has scored 9 runs on 23 hits. He has a home run, 7 RBIs, 5 walks. He's struck out 27 times. He's hitting 240.
What?
No. In his last 30 games, he's hitting 240, on base percentage of 284, and a slugging of 333, as per MLB.com in his last 30 games. However, his last 15 games, he's hitting 167.
Yeah.
He's
He's lost a lot of his power, and honestly, when he first came up, he was hitting the ball well, hitting for power, a lot of doubles, home runs. But power is kind of the only thing that he really has going for him. So if he doesn't have that aspect, and it's a single here or there, he's suddenly turned into Schwarber with the home. It's essentially a worser version of Trey Turner. And that's unfortunately not going to work. He's honestly been hitting like 2022 Nick Castellanos in a sense.
Yeah, I mean,
base hit here, meaningless base hit there.
I think it's just something with the first year Phils.
I hope.
Bryce Harper wasn't really great his first year here.
I hope. I mean, but he has been just terrible the last few days. JT Realmuto should not be hitting in the 5-hole. I mean, honestly, I'd rather have should be their lineup. It's first of all, it's not well constructed by any means because you have Schwarber leading off, Turner. That's fine. I mean, what I wish I could do is sit here and say, move this guy down, move this guy down, move this guy down, but then we're gonna have no one hitting at the top of the lineup.
Yeah,
so that's not gonna work. Realmuto needs to move down. Move Stott up to 5. Marsh to 6. Bohm to 7. Honestly, Realmuto 8, and then Clemens 9. Because what I don't understand is right now the way he has it, he has Marsh, Clemens, Schwarber. That's 3 lefties in a row. If there is any decent left-handed closer, that gives us that. You know what that is?
Well,
putting...
and that's time he pinch hits in what's his name, Josh Harrison, which is who really
Josh Harrison played baseball on the Phillies.
Really want J-Hay on pinch hitting, but
no. Like, here's what that does. There's going to be one inning where a team brings in their best left-handed relief pitcher, and essentially, it's a game that's supposed to play with 27 outs. The Phillies now have 24 outs to do their thing because that's just a wasted inning there. It makes 0 sense.
David Robertson just blew the lead for the Mets. Gave up a 3-run shot to Patrick Bailey. It's 5-4 Giants over New York, if you're wondering. Should we technically be rooting for the Mets?
They're a lost cause, and I also feel bad for them.
I don't feel bad for them at all.
I don't know. If I covered the Mets, I would be in shambles right now.
Well, that's a good thing you're covering the Phillies, who also aren't playing well.
Is it though?
Anyway, hey, it's better than the Mets.
That's true. That's true.
Let's see here. What else do we have here? Let's talk about the guy that's making $330 million for the next 13 years.
Yeah, we should do that.
Bryce Harper.
Because right now he's been making about $330.
It's wild.
Anyway, here's my take on him. Do I need to get the Ben Davis bat out? I think I do.
I think you do. I'm gonna full screen you.
My picture. What is that? Oh, that's Cole Hamels. Cole Hamels fell over here.
Big
There we go.
stuff here.
Okay. So
Let's go.
here's my issue with Harbor right now. And he funnily enough, Muto has the exact same problem. And as stupid as it sounds, they are trying to hit home runs. If you go back to that inning, and I don't know off the top of my head which one it was, I want to say the fourth inning. No, that's the sixth inning, right? When the Phillies had it was with all the pop outs. Yeah, bottom of the sixth. Trey Turner singles, Nick Castellanos singles, and what happens, Ben?
Nothing.
Pop out. The two pop outs there are Bryce Harper. If you look at their swings, actually, this was said on the post-game show. John Kruk and Ricky Vitalco summed it up beautifully. It looks like they're golfing. Like their entire body's moving forward. I mean, realistically, this should be an easy correction. Anyone who knows anything about hitting knows that it's backwards, same spot you started, fire from here. They're going here. They see that pitch and their body just flies forward. They look like talking to me. Like they look like buffoons out there. I'm serious.
Buffoons.
Harper's out there. He's golfing. I'm convinced.
Yeah,
that thing went straight up.
Yeah.
It was like someone shot something. I thought that ball got shot out of a cannon, just whooped right in the air.
Yeah, that was
physicists should look at that because that's not statistically likely how
straight
up that ball.
It looked like he shot like the fanatic was shooting out a hot dog out of his gun.
It did. It might have been a hot dog. They probably got confused because when I watch him, I get confused.
What are your opinions on that?
Because things, first of all, swings.
Oh, you just glitched out.
So I don't know if
it's rewind. You just glitched out a lot. You need to restart what you just said.
His swing is not the same every time.
There you go.
I don't know if he has a bad approach or if he has no approach at all, which is me sometimes. I'm not gonna lie, but it's so aggravating to watch because he's not in rhythm, nothing's in tune, and his mechanics are just not what we've seen from Bryce Harper in the past. So, like I said, and John Kruk said this, and when they do the little segment with him between Ricky Bo and John Kruk, and they have a little conversation
the crossover, right?
The crossover, that's what it's called. They have a little conversation, act like they don't know each other. It's a cute thing. And he said he's not in control. If you watch his swing, sometimes he's finishing this way, sometimes he finishes way out there. Obviously, this is all from the left side because he's a lefty, I'm a righty. So he finishes here, he finishes back here. Half time he's falling out of the batter's box. I don't even know if he knows where the ball goes. Again, I don't know how to fix it because I'm sure he's aware of this, but a lot of it is it's a mind. See, everything comes back to Ben Davis. It is a mindset. It really is. And you have to understand what to expect, if that makes any sense, because it seems like it's not just his swing is out of rhythm, but his mindset's also out of rhythm. When your mindset's out of rhythm, everything kind of just becomes a jumble. That's what we're seeing from Bryce Harper right now, a jumble. He's out in front of pitches. He's behind pitches. He's getting under them. What do they call it? Tomahawking it into the ground. And again, I think he's going to figure it out because
he's sorting.
A, he's Bryce Harper. And two, I don't think he has a choice because we're Philadelphia fans and we're brutal. But
yeah, my thing is I'm kind of chilling back with this whole Bryce Harper thing.
I am too.
He just came back from Tommy John surgery. He had the quickest recovery time I would say human history coming back from the kind of surgery. And plus, this is his spring training. This is like we're about a month through the first. We're pretty much through the first month of Bryce.
I'd also like to say this for the crowd.
Yeah.
Can we just please still acknowledge the fact he's hitting 283?
He's still hitting for contact. He's still driving. He's still driving. I don't get. He's not playing like Bryce Harper, but he's still all-star worthy. Like he was almost an all-star starter, and he's not playing like Bryce Harper. But
Yeah, you're completely right. I mean, the garbage that I see on Twitter, you'd think the guy's hitting 195.
Oh yeah,
But he has Kyle Schwarber's average, but without the 21 home runs.
Yeah, he's Bryce Harper. Speaking of home runs in the National League East, Ronald Acuna Jr. just hit his 20th home run of the season. He is going to finish the first half with a 20-30. That's absolutely ridiculous. I would say he's on pace for a 40-60 season. Have we ever seen that before? I don't know. But yeah.
He's unreal.
Yeah,
He really is good.
I don't
and
know.
And then back to Realmuto, he's got the same problem. He's just completely out of control. His swing, his entire body shifts forward. He got to here, and then he came through, and the bat is so far behind that everything just goes straight up. He's the exact same thing. And again, this is all really simple stuff. I'm sure he knows this, but like I said, it's more of an expectancy thing, knowing okay. And I don't want to call Realmuto out for not preparing because he's one of the guys in baseball who prepares the most. But it's a little bit instinctual, which, of course, JT Realmuto has some of the best instincts in baseball. That's why he's an all-star catcher. Can't be an all-star catcher if you have bad instincts. But understanding, he just threw a fastball in this situation. This guy usually comes with a curveball, and then comprehending that and then sitting on that next pitch, seeing it out of his hand, recognizing, wait a minute, if that's not a curveball, I'm taking this pitch. That's a fastball low, it's going to be a ball. This curveball's high, it's going to drop in for a strike, stay back, drive it. That's what he's not doing right now. And that's why we see him so far out in front, dropping the barrel, those lazy pop-ups that make me want to go get another bowl of ice cream.
Yeah, if you want a less complex way of saying that, he doesn't know what's coming.
He's playing blind. You just put blindfold on and he'd have the same results.
JT Realmuto's playing blind at the plate. That's exactly what we wanted to hear tonight. But that's a way to dumb it down a little bit more because Colin said that pretty. But it's okay because we thank you for listening so far. This is episode number 32 of Bell Ringers. Is brought to you by SeatGeek. Use code Philly Sports Report to save $20 off your first purchase. We're talking about all-star catchers. Harper's an all-star level, even though he stinks. Let's talk about the all-star game, the home run derby. What do you got? Because you put this on here, not me.
Yeah, so I put it in my article I posted today, and I can't lie. It feels like a long shot, but I think the Phillies have 4 all-stars this year. I really think Nick Castellanos and Bryce Harper are locks. Nick Castellanos' stat line, you just can't not put him in the all-star game. He's top 6 in pretty much every category. Probably, honestly, except stolen bases. He has like 6 or 7 of those. And Bryce Harper is Bryce Harper. He finished second in the fan voting. And honestly, he hasn't played in an all-star game his entire time in Philadelphia, in which he has won the entire National League and won the MVP. So I'd expect him to finally get to play this year. It just seems it's inevitable at this point. Yeah. And the other 2 guys I have, Jose Alvarado.
No.
Unfortunately, we are playing a game where people are paying to see home runs and 100-mile-per-hour fastballs and the pitches that move the most to get put on Pitching Ninja at 2 a.m. And that is what Jose Alvarado is. He's like one of the most featured guys on Pitching Ninja. He throws 101 miles per hour. He sets records. He's a little bit insane, to say the least. If you've seen it, if you heard anything about what he did in the Mets series, you'll know exactly why I'm saying that. So he's another guy. He just seems like a guy who would get put into the All-Star team because people want to see him. Of course, the pitchers are selected by the managers and the baseball higher ups, the people that caused us to not be able to watch baseball for the first 8 days of April a year ago. So or 2 years ago, we can bang for that. And I'm going to give it to Rain.
Wait, that was
I know, 2 years ago.
That was last year.
That was last year. You're right. I'm getting my years confused because that was the winter of 2021, but now we're in 2023. So
it went into 2022 because we were supposed to start the season against the Astros, and we ended the season against the Astros, coaching playoffs.
Right, and that's why we were playing postseason in like the middle of November. I'm exaggerating, it was the beginning, but still shouldn't be playing baseball in November. That's like prime football season there. But anyway,
Mr. November. Football, Colin, you don't football.
What? Football, huh?
You don't watch football unless something
Occasionally
changed.
I do.
Unless something changed with you.
If I have like 3 fantasy players playing in a game, I'll turn it on.
Philly Sports Fantasy?
Yeah, I do another one with my friends, but I usually lose that one. That's okay though. Anyway, and then I got Ranger Suarez in there. And honestly, the whole reason I got Ranger Suarez in the All-Star game, I know, and this isn't going to happen. They're not going to have 4. They're going to have 2, I think.
Maybe.
Harper and Castellanos. But Ranger Suarez is going to win NL Pitcher of the Month, and you can't not have the NL Pitcher of the Month in the All-Star game. Like, I don't know. That's just maybe a weird niche-y thing that I'm saying. But
I don't know if they'll give him pitcher.
Who else would they give it to?
I don't know if they give it to a Philadelphia Philly named Ranger Suarez.
See, that's the issue with guys like Suarez, though. Because I said it for Alvarado. Suarez is the opposite. He doesn't have the crazy emotion.
He's not like a big name guy.
He doesn't. Well, yeah, because he doesn't have those crazy emotions that Alvarado finds funny, and he doesn't.
What was that?
That was my impression of Jose Alvarado for the Mets series. Then he doesn't have his 100-mile-per-hour fastball. He has his 93-mile-per-hour fastball, but he makes it effective for him, and that's why he's a great pitcher. But unfortunately, that's not what they're looking for with all-star selections. So I don't know.
Acuna is the first player in AL/NL history with 20-plus home runs and 35-plus stolen bases for the All-Star break. It's kind of ridiculous.
I'm a little surprised for that, honestly.
What game number are we at? Where are we?
Oh, I know this. 81, halfway through.
Is this the halfway point? Oh my God, we're halfway through the season.
We're 43 and 38. That's 81.
Oy. All right.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't actually realize that this was the halfway point through the season.
So what are we now? We're 86 win team.
Yeah, and it's worse than last year. Last year we were 88.
Well, we were 87 now.
87, 88. It's close enough.
Yeah, and honestly, with all this interleague play, it just makes the National League stronger, right? Because if you think about it, the records have to be pretty similar in the National League and American League because there wasn't that much interleague play. With all this interleague play this year,
I hate it.
The National League is just becoming so much stronger because we beat the American League teams, which I'm honestly shocked by because I thought for a while there the AL was usually stronger than the NL.
No, the National League. I feel like the National League is usually has the better base. I've always thought National League baseball was always better until they took strategy out of the game, because nobody likes strategy. But these National League teams are killing these AL teams. I'm killing, but they're beating them, and I feel like this NL has always been stronger. Except in the All-Star game, the AL always wins.
You know, it would be nice, Ben. We were in the Central of the United States. The NL Central and the AL Central stink. They are.
But is it really worth it to get into the playoffs to get exposed in the first round?
Exposed last year. That didn't age too well. I mean, I don't know. So that means what? You'd play.
The Cardinals were exposed.
It's true.
You're Cardinals.
They're so bad. Adam Wainwright isn't even cooked. He's burnt.
Well, the guy's 40 years old.
I think he's going to turn it around. I do. I'm psycho, but I do. So hold on. Let me hear this. Who are your All-Stars? Let me guess. Rob Thompson. That's it.
Have one All-Star. Bryce Harper.
Oh, come on.
I don't think anybody else gets in.
You can't not put Nick Castellanos on there.
So
his numbers are ridiculous. And here's the thing. I don't even like Nick Castellanos. I think he's an annoying person. I mean, I haven't had this rant before.
No, okay. We're gonna save this for a different day. I think Castellanos deserves to get in, but do I think he's going to get voted in? No.
First of all, it's not a vote. It's the players, and then the players mostly know what's going on. I do know there are some players who don't watch any baseball, so they just go off what they see in their scouting reports. If you're not a pitcher, you don't read the scouting reports of non.
It should really be like Baseball Writers Association should really have majority say.
No, that's all bias. It's whatever. Plus, here's the other thing. It's whatever.
And the fans aren't biased.
The reserves, because here's the thing.
You see how many Atlanta Braves made the final? That was ridiculous. Like every single thing, there was an Atlanta Brave.
That's fair.
I mean, they're so good, but like every single position, come on, save some for the rest of us. What are you doing?
They do the fan voting because it's fun, but the reason that they have the reserves and the pitchers decided
this much of an effect.
It has no effect.
The people can just pick the starting lineup.
It picks the starting lineup, yeah, but is there anyone on there who truly wouldn't get in even if they were?
Well, I mean, there's some guys that shouldn't be on the starting lineup. Like I don't know if Nolan Arenado.
Okay, that's fair, but they'd still all be All-Stars.
Should Nolan Arenado really be a starter?
Probably not.
Should Francisco Lindor made the final voting?
No. Bryce Harper shouldn't have either.
Oh no.
My point is the fan voting and the manager voting is basically their filter, right? It makes sure that the right people get into the game. But it's up to those people to know who the right people are. The issue with doing Writers Association is pretty much any valid writer for a big newspaper gets into that. As long as there's a certain number per team. And I feel like when you do that, like the Yankees have more coverage than I don't know. What's the team that just got their beat writer drop? Was it the Mariners for the Athletic? The Athletic just dropped their beat writer. I know they just dropped a bunch of beat writers. My point is
they don't have anyone on the Sixers anymore. I know that.
Exactly. So then that becomes bias, right? Because how many people are associated with the New York Mets? Like John Heyman's a national writer. He's associated with the Mets. Bob Nightingale is a national writer, but is technically associated with the Diamondbacks. So I don't know. I feel like you can't do that. There's no perfect way to do it.
Yeah.
Like
you're not gonna
dude who knows everything.
You're not gonna satisfy everybody. But you know what is gonna satisfy me?
What?
I will be at the Shaquille O'Neal concert tomorrow.
Yeah, I have many questions about that, but I'll pertain it to one.
Yeah.
2. What and why?
All right. Why? Because it's awesome is my answer to that. It's literally Shaquille O'Neal. Like, how can you not go wrong? What? So what I guess what I've seen, because I don't know anyone that's been to any of these. What I've seen, I guess, it's literally like a club. Like, I know he used to rap, but he's too old to rap. And it's hey guys, Philadelphia. That's all we're gonna hear. He's a big mumbler, especially with all those speakers. I think he's just gonna be missing this the whole time. I'm so excited though. I don't even care about the game. I'm just going for the Shaq concert, and I'm excited. It's gonna be interesting.
It's not even a concert if you're just a DJ.
No, it's literally a club. But it's being advertised as a concert, so I don't know. I have no clue what to expect. I'm going in. I was told it's like a bar mitzvah, which is just incorrect because bar mitzvah, they play actual music, not club music, and they lift people in chairs. And I don't think we're lifting Shaquille O'Neal in any chairs.
Hey, you never know. Weird things happen in Philadelphia.
Sure, like
Don't
some
forget
guy,
that.
some guy at a whole rotisserie chicken once.
What?
You
Oh
never seen
yeah,
it?
I saw that.
Yeah.
That was New
Yes.
York. No, was that?
Philadelphia.
That's not gross at all.
It was the first, only championship we won.
Of course.
Yeah, we rebuilt I-95 in 12 days, and we put the mascots over it first.
Congratulations to us. We got anything else on that agenda?
Let's see. Did we talk about Trey Turner and JT? How much leniency they have to the bottom of the lineup? I feel like you're very
We did, yeah.
We did. Okay. Home run derby.
I
Best.
don't think any Phillies are going to be in it this year.
Oh no.
They have some of the worst home run numbers in all of baseball.
They have Schwarber's the only one that they would consider, but no.
Well, he wasn't good last year. He lost to a guy that was like 55 years old.
Well, I was rigged. All right.
Mr.
That was
AARP.
absolutely rigged.
Don't go there. It wasn't.
Dude, it was so rigged. You don't. That doesn't just happen.
They didn't miss anything. If you watch it closely, they didn't miss anything.
Yeah, they did. They did miss a home run from Schwarber. He did. He did tie. There was one home run that was out right as the buzzer went off, and it was not counted. And Schwarber.
If it was rigged, they would have had Pujols win it.
Exactly. Well, they had him. They had him win the first round because they hate Philadelphia. That's right.
Maybe, but no, I don't think we're going to see any Phillies in it. I mean,
I hope not.
I don't think anyone has broken double-digit home runs on our team other than Kyle Schwarber.
Let's find.
Because that's like super concerning if they haven't, and I think that's the case. I think you have a handful of guys with 9 and 8.
You may be right. I may be crazy. Let's see here. It doesn't tell me the numbers, bro. That's absolutely ridiculous.
Here, I got it.
You may be right.
Let's see. Home run leaders on the Phillies. Oh no, Castellanos is at 10 now. So it goes Schwarber 21, Castellanos 10, and then yeah, I know. And then Real Muto 8, Turner 8, and then 7s are Bohm, Marsh, Stott. Your 5 is Sosa. Clemens has 4. Harper has 3. Your 2s are Ellis and Harrison. Your 1s are Jake Cave and Christian Pache.
We've hit no home runs.
Are Guthrie, Derek Hall, and Garrett Stubbs.
Oh, we've hit no home runs this year. What's the total?
The total, I think it's 68. I looked it up this morning. Did we hit any today? No, it's 68. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 68.
That's kind of weird.
Did you know the Kansas City Royals have had more barrels this year than us? I did. I don't know if you saw my rant on Twitter. I had a whole. It was practically article length. Not really.
Wait, can you run back what you just said?
Did you see my rant about barrels on Twitter?
I don't think so.
Did a whole thing on barrels.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
Kansas City Royals have more barrels than the Phillies this year. Bryson Stott this entire season, I think, has 10 barrels. I don't know how that's possible.
It's funny. It's good stuff. It's Philly stuff. All right, what do we have on deck? So we have 2 against the what are they called? Who are we playing right now? The Washington Nationals.
Yeah, cherry blossom trees.
So we lost game 1 against the Nationals. And then we have 2 more this weekend. What am I looking at? Here we are. June. So now we are entering July. The Phillies went 18-8 in July or in June. So to July, 2 games against the Nationals, and then we have 3 at the Rays, and then 3 more at the Miami Marlins, and then we go to the All-Star break. So it's a pretty tough.
Sounds like a lot of losses.
Yeah, that's a tough final week. 2 against the Nationals, they better win those. And then 3 against the really good Tampa Bay Rays. And then 3 against the Red Hot Marlins. both in Florida. So
Give me the 2 against the Nationals, and then I'll take my split with the Rays and Marlins, 2-2, and that will leave us 7 games over 500.
So you mean 3-3 because it's 6 games.
Yeah, what did I say? 4-4.
Yeah.
Yeah. So give me my 3-3.
So we lose the series to the Rays and win the series in the Marlins, or vice versa.
I couldn't care less.
Okay.
Give me 3-3, 2 against the Nats. Right now we're 5 games under 5 games. 5 games over 500. With what I just said, that gives us a record of 5-3 for the All-Star break. That puts us 2 games, 5 games, 7 games, 7 games over 500 going to the All-Star break. I can deal with that. I will not be too emotionally traumatized.
No,
just a little bit emotionally traumatized.
Yeah, because we should be well over 10. We should be at least 10, I would think. This team
should be in first place in the NL East with that ridiculous payroll.
Well, there's no
Who's complaining?
There's no getting past the Braves. The Marlins are. I don't know how they're still winning games.
They're better be getting past the Marlins because they stink.
The Marlins do not. The Marlins are playing insane right now, and
in my brain they stink.
Yeah, I love to think the Marlins stink, but they just. I don't know. I've never seen the Marlins win like this before.
Their offense is mid. Sandy Alcantara is cooked, and their bullpen is mid.
And their second
place.
So
Alcantara just had a good start. You had like 7 innings, 1 run, I think.
What's the Marlins' actual record? The Marlins are
better than it should be.
That's for damn sure. They just lost 16-4 to the Braves. They're 48-35.
Good.
The Braves are 54-27, which is absolutely ridiculous. Are the Rays still the best team in baseball? The Rays are 56. No. The Rays are 56-28. Who's better than them?
See, here's the funny thing. Like, if you look at the Marlins, they're kind of like the Phillies. They've got Soler at 22 home runs. They've got Garrett Cooper then at 10, and then Chisholm and De La Cruz at 9, Sanchez at 7, Fortes 4. They have they have practically no home runs on their team. And their averages aren't good either. Soler's hitting 245.
So then why are they so good?
Because their pitching was their team ERA was under 3 this month.
Oh wow.
Chisholm's hitting 244. De La Cruz is hitting 281. So that's decent. Sanchez 245. Fortes 223. I'm skipping Luis Ariz because he's just annoying. Really cool though.
That's why they're really good. I forgot about
Avisail Garcia 188. Yuli Gurriel hitting 268, but an OPS of just 717. I mean, their offensive numbers don't jump off the charts. Like a lot of the guys who are hitting for a high average, like another perfect example. John Birdie's hitting 276, but an OPS of just 665. I mean, their numbers again. I mean, Gene Segura hasn't even cracked 200 yet. I feel bad for Gene.
Yeah,
he's really had a rough year. But yeah, I mean, and again, like another good example, Joey Wendell, 281 average, but an OPS of just 717. I mean, I've watched maybe 1 or 2 Marlins games this month, so I haven't really seen much of them. But they're finding a way to get it done, mainly through their pitching. But their offense is just so average, I don't think it's going to last. Now, here's what I will say. The Marlins are a perfect example of how having that all a baseball team needs to be successful, or at least Marlins successful, is 5 solid starters. I've said it once, I've said it again. Phillies need to go after pitching at the deadline. Pitching wins games. Marlins did it. Their offense is average at best. And their pitching has single-handedly made them the most productive team in June. They went to the top of the wild card.
I've seen a lot of those fun TikToks where it's like, here's what I want the Phillies to do at the All-Star break, or what I want the Phillies to do at the trade deadline. Those are always stupid. But I've seen a lot of Marcus Stroman to Philly posts and tweets and whatever. What are your thoughts on Marcus Stroman to Philadelphia? I don't know why I said Philadelphia.
I feel like he's going to be a Kyle Gibson.
No. And that guy is insane.
I'm sorry. I meant a Kyle Gibson to Philadelphia.
Yeah, we know what you meant. But
Not
that
a
guy,
Kyle Gibson to where is he now? Baltimore?
Baltimore, where he's him.
He is him. I really do think he'd be a Kyle Gibson. I mean, historically, he's been really up and down. Historically, Gibson was really up and down. Comes over on the trade deadline, a lot of pressure on him in a city like Philadelphia, and I don't think he's going to be good.
Yeah.
I would actually shy away from going with Sherman.
Okay.
I'd rather give up a little bit more for a guy who has had historic success and not just a season here or there where he puts up good numbers.
Like who?
That's where the problem comes in.
And is that where we call it a day?
I think it might have to be.
So it's depressing.
I'm going to do some Googling. I'll get back to you with that.
Depressing.
If I dive deep enough, I'll find a guy that I'm satisfied with, but I'm not easily pleased.
How many
That sounds a
hours
little
is
weird.
that going to take? So that's going to do it from us here on episode 32 of the Bell Ringers podcast, presented to you by not Bell Ringers, presented to you by SeatGeek. Use code Phillies Sports Report to save $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase. Thank you for listening to Phillies Sports Reports podcast.
Hold the S, Ben.
Hold the flipping S. Thank you for listening to Phillies Sports podcast, wherever you're listening. If you're on YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe to this video. Subscribe to the channel if you want more. Ring that bell for the noties. Woo! And then if you're listening anywhere else, rate us, give us 5 stars. I guess that's how that works. You rate us.
I was going to ask the same question.
I'm new to the podcast game. I got to do some stuff, some reading, which I'm not going to read anything. Yeah, rate us 5 stars. We're so cool. Thank you for listening. Check out phillysportsreports.com for the latest. Follow us on all of the social medias, all Philly Sports Reports.
Full All-Star game coverage, Ben.
Yes, All-Star game. We plan to do some very exciting stuff for the home run derby, which I have to start working on. But yeah.
Good reminder, thanks.
So thank you guys for listening. And we'll see you next time. Go Phils.
Go Phils.